Unlock the hidden power of morning prayer to guard your soul from unseen temptations. I never expected a single dream to change everything. It started as a whisper in the dark, an invitation I couldn't ignore. I was sitting on my bedroom floor, feeling lost, me heart a tangled mess of hopes and fears. The world outside was alive, yet I felt invisible. When the clock ticked past midnight, I heard a soft rustling, like someone was calling my name. One night, the moonlight spilled through my window, bathing the room in a silver glow. It felt ethereal. As I closed my eyes, images flooded my mind, strange symbols and shadows dancing just out of reach. I didn't recognize them, yet they felt familiar. Did I dare to unravel this mystery? Outside, the trees whispered secrets, their leaves rustling like soft voices urging me to listen. Each morning drew me into a trance, and questions poured into my mind. What did this dream mean? Were there forces at play, unseen but powerful? I was eager yet terrified. The air was charged with an energy I could almost taste. In meditation, visions pulsed like distant thunder, sweeping my senses into a world I couldn't comprehend. I found myself doubting, was I ready to confront whatever awaited me on this journey? Shadows seemed to grow longer, twisting around me. The whispers echoed louder with every passing day. I began to notice signs in nature, the sun hitting the horizon, painting the sky with colors that felt alive. Were they a signal? My heart raced as I pondered what lay in the unseen depths of my fate. I glanced at the candle flickering on my table, its flame dancing as if caught in a rhythm only it could hear. Moments of silence would suddenly be disrupted by a sharp crack. Was it just the house settling, or something more? The energy was thick, charging every thought, making me hyper-aware of my surroundings. I sat on that floor, struggling with my apprehensions, craving clarity. My breathing hitched as I felt a presence looming over me, heavy and inviting. I clenched my fists, unsure if it was fear or excitement. Was my soul being guarded or tested? Each unanswered question echoed in the silence, pushing me deeper into reflection. As I stared at the flickering flame, I couldn't help but wonder. What would happen if I chose to embrace this new path? What lies beyond the veil of my awareness? The air felt electric, yet a shiver ran down my spine, leaving me on the edge of uncertainty. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The days turned into a cycle of restless anticipation and questioning. Each sunrise felt both like an awakening and an echo of the haunting dreams that continued to tempt my reality. I began to step outside as the first light crept over the horizon, seeking answers where the world welcomed the dawn. One particular morning, as I wandered through the dew-kissed grass, the sky unfolded in shades of gold and purple. A feeling surged within me, as though nature recognized my yearning. Birds trilled cheerfully above, their melodies weaving in and out of the gentle breeze. I paused, closing my eyes, trying to grasp the energy pulsing through the air. I sought to listen, not just to the chirps but to the silence between. Then a rustle beside me startled me from my thoughts. It was an old man I had often seen sitting beneath a gnarled oak tree. His eyes, deep and knowing, seemed to pierce through the veil of my uncertainty. He gestured for me to join him. Hesitating but intrigued, I approached. I see you searching, he said softly, his voice as steady as the trunk behind him. But know that every journey must start with a question. What is your heart truly longing for? I opened my mouth, the words caught within me like a breath that wouldn't release. I remembered the symbols dancing in my dream, the shadows that whispered my name. Instead, I asked, what do they mean? The old man's gaze softened. Sometimes, the answers are hidden in the questions we dare not ask. Tell me, when you dream, what do you feel? I pondered, recalling that sense of familiarity wrapped in mystery, a mixture of fear and excitement churning in my chest. A call, maybe. A pull towards something greater, I replied, my voice trembling slightly. He nodded knowingly, his fingers caressing the bark of the tree. Oh, but that pull can take you down many roads, some joyful and others treacherous. Trust your intuition as you navigate these paths, for they may lead to revelations you'd never imagined. As I sat with the weight of his words, another swift movement in the shadows caught my attention. A falcon soared above us, catching the morning light, its wings outstretched in an elegant art of freedom. I watched in a trance, feeling an awakening within me. This bird was embracing each shift of the wind effortlessly, a striking contrast to my anchored doubts. Like that falcon, you can find your own currents, he continued, drawing me back from the skies. But the winds can shift unexpectedly. Be prepared to adapt. The encounter swirled in my mind long after the old man had left, leaving me with more questions than I began. Each day thereafter I sought further connections. I walked among buried roots and winding paths, beginning to see how nature mirrored the intricacies of my own struggle. The trees seemed to breathe with me, their branches swaying in resonance, inviting me to unravel the layers of my own spirit. That I started collecting small tokens from my journeys: a feather, a smooth stone, a dried flower. Each piece felt like a conversation with the universe, a physical reminder of my search. And on particularly soul-stirring days, I would nestle these discoveries in my prayer space, letting them anchor my intentions as I sought guidance. Still, the shadows followed me, the weight of unresolved mysteries pulling gently at my heart. There were signs everywhere, especially at dusk when shadows grew long and the world dimmed. I was finding symbols overlaying my life like a tapestry, the unseen weaving in and out of my reality. One evening, I returned home, feeling fragments of light surrounding me, fragments that seemed to pulse with potential. I lit a candle, the flickering flame casting dancing shadows on the walls. Yet, despite this warmth, an unease settled in my gut. I was drawn to the darkness lurking just beyond my understanding. "Why are you still afraid?" I whispered to the flame, seeking comfort in its glow while wrestling with inner turmoil. A question pierced my heart, leaving me breathless. Was it the journey itself, or the unknown destination, that truly frightened me? As I gazed into the flickering light, I realized that perhaps there was no simple answer, just the powerful call to keep seeking, to keep questioning, and to find my truth hidden beneath layers of fog and shadow. Opening my heart was only the beginning, and the essence of myself felt intertwined with the mysteries yet to unfold. Was I ready to embrace the depths of my being, uncovering the truths that would push me beyond my limitations? What awaited me in the places I had yet to explore within? The morning after my encounter with the old man, I awakened early, compelled by an urge to witness dawn anew. The air was crisp, a hint of autumn weaving through the blend of summer's last warmth. As I stepped outside, I noticed a thick mist hovering low over the ground, wrapping around everything like a delicate veil, hinting at the mysteries waiting to be unveiled. With each step, the damp grass released tiny droplets, like nature's way of reminding me to remain present, to appreciate the hidden beauty in what often remained unnoticed. The world seemed to hold its breath, caught between night and day, as if inviting me to pause and reflect on possibilities yet unfolded. What secrets hid beneath the surface of this fog? Then it happened, a fleeting vision. In the distance, a figure emerged, momentarily breaking through the haze. Clad in flowing white robes, they walked with grace and purpose, their presence exuding a serenity that enveloped the surroundings. I felt a magnetic pull, my feet moving instinctively toward them, each step igniting curiosity and hesitation in my chest. As I drew closer, the figure turned, revealing a face framed by long, silver hair. Their eyes, vibrant and aware, seemed to recognize both the questions brewing within me and the silent struggles layered beneath my skin. "Fear not the unseen," they spoke, their voice like water trickling over stones. "For from the hidden depths comes the light of understanding." I blinked, momentarily speechless. Who are you?" I stammered. "Just a messenger," they replied, their eyes twinkling. "A reminder that the answers you seek often lie buried within. You've begun a journey, but know that the mind can be both a maze and a mirror. Some paths take you deep into the heart of your fears, only to reveal the truth that waits patiently in the shadows." I pondered their words, realizing that every moment I spent in introspection was a step deeper into this labyrinth of the self. My heart raced. But how do I recognize the truth? I implored. How do I discern what is meant for me amid the myriad whispers of doubt? Trust in the rhythm of your heart, they advised, gesturing around us, where the mist slowly swirled like thoughts in a restless mind. Each pulse reflects the waves of the unseen. When you meditate, when you reach out for answers, remember that the universe speaks in symbols. It's up to you to find the echoes of your spirit that a breeze lifted, carrying the scent of earth and something sweeter, like promises waiting to be fulfilled. A flock of birds took flight, darting through the mist, and I felt a longing to join them in their freedom, to float and soar above the constraints I had placed upon myself. Will I always feel this uncertainty? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. The figure smiled gently. Embrace it. Uncertainty is the cradle of growth, where adventure and revelation are born. Consider it an ally rather than an adversary. They paused, letting the stillness settle around us, their presence both grounding and liberating. The journey is as vital as the destination. In that moment, I felt a surge of energy swirl around me, a recognition of the truth they hinted at. Uncertainty was part of the exploration, a raw ember sparking the fire of discovery. Perhaps my fears were not the chains I feared, but the very catalysts propelling me forward. As the figure turned to leave, they paused for a heartbeat, looking back with an intensity that pulled at my core. Remember, every morning holds the potential to unveil a new layer of understanding. Seek the wisdom in your dreams, dance with the shadows, and let your heart guide you as you navigate. There is still much to unearth. With that, they faded into the mist, leaving me alone once more. I stood still, grounded amid my whirlpool of thoughts, the words echoing in the stillness. I resolved to embrace the unknown, both the exhilarating possibility of newfound truth and the daunting depth of my own aspirations. As I turned back toward the path leading home, the fog began to lift, revealing the clarity and beauty of the world around me. But there lingered a haunting question in my heart. How could I ever truly know if I was ready to dive into the depths of my own potential without fearing the shadows that awaited within? Would I learn to embrace the journey ahead? Or would I remain shackled by the fears that shape my reality? As the sun began to pierce through the dissipating mist, strands of golden light danced upon the dew-kissed grass, illuminating the path ahead. The air felt different, charged with energy, like the promise of something sacred brooding just beneath the surface of everyday existence. My heart raced with a peculiar blend of eagerness and trepidation. The morning's encounter had unlocked a door within me, but what lay beyond it remained shrouded in mystery. After returning home, I sat by the window, coffee in hand, pondering the old man's wisdom and the ethereal figure's words. The world outside buzzed with its usual rhythm, cars humming, leaves rustling, life unfolding. Yet an invitation lingered in the air, enticing me to seek deeper understanding, an urge to explore the veils that obscured my truth. Before I knew it, I was drawn outdoors once more, the cool autumn breeze wrapping around my shoulders like an invisible shawl. Each step felt deliberate, as if the universe itself guided me toward a place I needed to discover. I wandered into the nearby woods, where the vibrant hues of fallen leaves created a stunning tapestry on the ground. The tranquility enveloped me, but my thoughts raced. What truth awaited me out here? Would the stillness help me listen to the whispering echoes of my heart? As I wandered deeper, I was captivated by the sounds of the forest, a chorus of rustling leaves, distant birdsong, and the soft crunch of twigs beneath my feet. It was a symphony drawing me in, reminding me that each element held a story, a voice of its own. And then from the corner of my eye, I spotted a glimmer of something unusual among the roots of an ancient oak tree. Intrigued, I approached, brushing away the leaves to reveal a small stone, polished smooth and etched with intricate symbols that appeared both foreign and familiar. I picked it up, cradling it in my palm, and closed my eyes. A rush of visions flooded my mind, scenes of past struggles and triumphs, fleeting moments of clarity interspersed with darkness. I recalled the face of the figure in the mist, their understanding gaze piercing through my fears. Was this stone a token of wisdom, a reminder of the unseen journey ahead? I felt the weight of its energy reverberate in my hand, as though it held a connection to the very essence of my spirit. At that moment, the quiet of the woods transformed, vibrant colors igniting around me as if the trees were awakening from slumber, breathing life into leaf and branch. Suddenly, I heard a voice, soft yet commanding, resonating deep within. Seek out the growth that lies in shadow, it urged. In the quiet spaces, the heart begins to unfold. What do you fear that holds your spirit captive? I opened my eyes to find the stone glowing faintly with an inner light, illuminating my fingertips. An overwhelming sense of recognition swept over me. The shadows were not just obstacles. They were the reflections of my past failures and insecurities, the very things whispering, "Not enough," in my ears. If I chose to confront them, I might just find the truths hidden within, the paths leading to newfound freedom. As I stood there, processing the enormity of that revelation, a sudden rustle caught my attention, pulling me back to my surroundings. A deer approached, its gentle eyes meeting mine, filled with an innocence that made my heart swell. There was a sacred stillness in its presence, an acknowledgement of the interconnectedness of all living things. It seemed to embody the same truth I had just grasped: the vulnerability of existence, and the courage to face the unknown. The deer took a cautious step closer, and I felt a deep resonance swell within me. In that shared moment, I understood I was being given a choice. I could run from these shadows, or I could welcome them, allowing them to guide my growth. Perhaps the true power of my journey lay not in avoiding fear, but in embracing it as part of the larger tapestry of my life. As the deer eventually blended into the woodland, I sat on the ground, holding the stone tightly, closing my eyes once more. In those moments of silence, I reflected on my journey, the encounters that had shaped my understanding. I didn't have all the answers, nor could I predict the twists and turns ahead, but I felt a deep assurance that with each step forward, each morning that dawned, revelations awaited me. I left the woods with the stone tucked safely in my pocket, feeling the warmth of possibility flickering within. Yet, curiously, another question nested in my heart. How could I cultivate the courage to stand in the face of my fears, to allow them to guide rather than hinder my spiritual unfolding? What new revelations and symbols would the universe offer to illuminate the shadows on my path? The next morning, I awoke early, the dawn spilling its soft glow across the sky like a whisper of hope. The stone lay beside me, a comforting weight on my nightstand, its presence a reminder of the journey that beckoned. Curiosity stirred within me. What awaited as I stepped further into my exploration of the unseen? As I moved through my morning routine, I felt compelled to create a ceremonial space, a small altar by the window where the first light of the day would wash over it. I gathered items that resonated: a flickering candle, a sprig of rosemary embodying purification, and a feather that had found its way to May, a sign of air's guidance. Each element formed a bridge to the essence of my quest. After lighting the candle, I held the stone in both hands, closing my eyes in a deep breath. I surrendered myself to the morning, allowing the air to fill me with light while contemplating the invitation extended by my shifting shadows. I began to speak, softly at first, then with growing conviction. Guide me through my fears. Show me the strength within to embrace my truth. I end that moment of stillness, I felt a pulsation in the stone, as if it thrummed with a rhythm that echoed the beat of my heart. A vivid vision materialized, one of a path winding through a dense forest, shadowed yet inviting. There, in the underbrush, a flicker of light glimmered, beckoning me closer. The image resonated, urging me to follow this illuminated trail, suggesting that within the darkness lay treasures waiting to be uncovered. Opening my eyes, a sense of determination infused my spirit. Inspired by this vision, I decided to venture back to the woods once more, to the heart of the shadows that held my unanswered questions. As I walked, the rhythm of nature pulsed around me, and anticipation hummed in the air. Once I arrived, I felt an electric charge permeate the forest. Each breath deepened my connection with the world, and the aura surrounding me seemed to shimmer with potential. As I moved along the familiar path, I paused by the ancient oak tree, the guardian of my earlier epiphanies. I placed my hand on its rough bark, feeling a quiet strength radiate from its roots to my fingertips. Show me what I need to see, I murmured to the tree, surrendering myself to whatever wisdom it held. As if in response, a soft wind began to swirl around me, lifting leaves that danced in spirals above my head. I closed my eyes and tuned into the sensation, letting the forest's rhythm harmonize with my breathing. Among the rustling leaves, I heard a sound faint at first, then growing clearer, a melodious voice soaring through the trees, weaving stories of transformation and rebirth. The chant tugged at my heart, its comforting timbre invoking memories of joy intertwined with pain. My mind conjured images of my past, the moments when I felt lost, the instances where I had turned away from love and light. Each memory surfaced as a stepping stone, interlaced with lessons that had shaped my spirit. That a realization washed over me. Confronting fear moves us not into isolation, but into a community of shared experiences, each moment rich with potential for healing. With each breath, I allowed the shadows to offer their gifts: compassion for my journey, empathy for my struggles, and forgiveness for the times I had faltered. That I end that sacred communion with the elements. I felt the stone's energy guide my thoughts toward acceptance, not just of my fears, but of myself in totality. I recognized the beauty in vulnerability, in the courage to stand still amidst the surrounding chaos. Suddenly, I sensed a presence nearby, drawing my attention. Opening my eyes, I gasped as I caught sight of a wise owl perched on a branch above me, its gaze piercing through the silence. In its stillness, I perceived wisdom, a reminder that clarity often emerges from quietude and contemplation. The owl shifted slightly, wings rustling softly, as if to signal that the answers I sought were not far away, but rather laid within my understanding. It inspired me to fly higher in my thoughts, to seek clarity from the shadows I had unearthed. With a rush of gratitude, I whispered my thanks, both to the forest and to the owl that appeared as a guide on my path. As I prepared to depart, I happened upon a feather on the ground, resembling the one from my altar. Oblivious to how closely intertwined our journeys had become, I picked it up reverently. Perhaps it was another reminder that insights often arrived in the most unexpected forms. Returning home, I felt lighter, invigorated by the experience. The stone now lay cool against my heart, its glow offering warmth. I reflected on the chants of the forest and the wisdom held in the presence of the owl. As understanding flourished within, a new question emerged to guide me further. How could I refine my ability to listen, to discover the messages hidden within silence, and connect deeply with the shadows and light that exists within us all? What other teachings awaited me in this sacred dance of unveiling? The following day, the horizon was painted a deep indigo, promising the world the brilliance of a new dawn. I felt a pull towards my newly created altar, as if it possessed a mystery waiting to unfold. Rising from my bed, I decided to sit in quietude once more, the flickering candle poised to ignite whichever road my spirit journeyed down today. That I in the serene murmur of the morning, I uttered a quiet invocation, a prayer threading through the fabric of the awakening day. Guide me further, I invited softly. Let me discover the hidden truths obscured by clouds of doubt and uncertainty. A sense of calm blanketed me as the warmth of the candle flickered. I closed my eyes, allowing my breath to deepen and sway like the gentle tides responding to a hidden moon. As I embraced the stillness, the stone pulsed vibrantly against the palm of my hand. Suddenly, I found myself enveloped by a visiona sea of undulating waves shimmering under the sun, casting ripples of light across the shore. Each wave danced with laughter, whispering secrets carried from distant lands. Within that expanse stood a solitary figure, silhouetted against the horizon, arms raised wide, welcoming both the light and the dark. The vision resonated deeply within me, evoking feelings of liberation mixed with trepidation. It spoke of a balance I had long sought. I remembered the moments when I, too, had stood at the edge, struggling between the comfort of familiarity and the thrill of embracing the unknown. What treasures lay hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be unearthed by courage? This sense of exploration wove itself into the threads of my day, urging me to visit the coastline nearby. The idea felt alive, simmering with new possibilities. After preparing myself, I journeyed to the shore, where land and sea united in a sacred embrace unstoppable and eternal. Upon arrival, I was greeted by the brisk scent of salt in the air, invigorating and refreshing. The waves lapped softly against the rocks, whispering stories of depth and mystery. As I walked along the sandy edge, sand squished beneath my toes, I felt the rhythm of the ocean synchronizing with my heartbeat, a lullaby urging me to listen, to delve deeper. I walked, lost in a contemplation of the ocean's ebb and flow, its tendency to recede and advance. I began to question how my own fears and aspirations echoed this cycle. Perhaps each hesitation in my path symbolized a retreat, the same way the tide pulls back before it rushes forward. Pausing to catch my breath, I closed my eyes, offering my thoughts to the swirling sea. What is it that I need to embrace? I murmured, hoping to draw forth an answer from the depths of the world around me. A breath spiraled through me, ushering in a wave of clarity. Suddenly, a magnificent eagle soared overhead. Its wings extended wide, gliding effortlessly by. I felt an immediate connection with this majestic creature, who embodied freedom and strength. In its flight, I recognized the potential to rise above the currents of fear and doubt that sought to anchor me. The eagle circled back, its lonely call echoing through the breeze, wrapping around me like a mantra that I in that moment. I grasped the enigma of duality, the interplay between fear and courage, retreat and forward motion. Each hesitation is often a prelude to revelation, a necessary pause before the emergence of newfound strength. I noticed that the eagle seemed to encourage me to rise like the tide, up and over the waves, without fear of what lurked beneath the surface. After watching it disappear into the vast expanse of blue, I felt lighter yet filled with an insatiable curiosity about the flight of this bird and its lessons. I turned back towards the shore, glancing at the footprints I had left behind, a tangible symbol of my progress. Returning home, the light of the setting sun cascaded through my window, illuminating the stone on my altar. It had transformed in color, deepening to hues I had not previously noticed, a blend of vibrant shades reflecting the spectrum of my journey. I was reminded that every shadow within me carried the potential for growth, for beauty. As night fell, I pondered a new question, one that stirred in the depths of my heart. What transformations lay hidden in the embrace of my fears, and could facing them reveal not just the essence of who I am, but also the greater interconnectedness we share in this world? How can I truly take flight and explore the horizons of my spirit? I settled into the mystery, eager for the whispers yet to come. The morning sun awakened with a gentle warmth, filtering through my window and casting playful shadows across my altar. I approached it with reverence, my heart still humming from the revelations of the previous day. The stone, now a kaleidoscope of colors, seemed to pulse with life, resonating with the lingering echoes of the eagle's flight. I felt a new energy infusing my spirit, igniting a deep-seated yearning to delve further into the mysteries that surrounded me. Deciding to invoke this new energy, I lit a fresh candle and seated myself before my altar once more. The flicker drew my gaze, and as I closed my eyes, I breathed deeply, beckoning the divine to guide my thoughts. Bring forth the hidden lessons waiting to unfold, I whispered, surrendering myself to the currents of the unseen. As I exhaled, I felt an awakening within, a magnetic pull towards intuitions long buried under the weight of daily concerns. In this cocoon of silence, images began to take shape. I found myself walking along a sun-dappled path, each step connecting me deeper to the earth below. The trees, ancient and wise, whispered secrets in a language only the heart could understand. I closed my eyes as I continued to walk, feeling the cool breeze that danced around me, a lover greeting me with familiar kisses. In the midst of my stroll, I stumbled upon a small clearing encircled by wildflowers bursting with color, a kaleidoscopic embrace of life. At the center stood a well, its stones weathered by the passage of time, standing tall against the erosion of existence. As I approached, the sight captivated my spirit. I leaned over the edge, peering into its depths. It was dark and mysterious, and I felt an urge to journey down, to explore its hidden chambers. I was reminded of the tides once again, how they retreat only to reveal the treasures lying beneath the surface. What lies within this well? I pondered aloud, a flicker of trepidation urging me to step closer. In that moment, a voice echoed faintly, a whisper that ricocheted through the forest. Seek not just what is seen but the truth concealed within. The words hung in the air, coaxing forth waves of curiosity. I closed my eyes, allowing the essence of the well to draw me into a lucid state, immersing myself in the embrace of the unseen. Visions swirled before me, faces of friends, strangers, and lineage, a tapestry woven together by shared experiences. I felt a stirring in my chest, as if each connection pulsed with the breath of the well, whispering stories of resilience and vulnerability. I realized that my journey was but a thread within this vast interconnected web. It sparked a revelation. To truly understand my fears and aspirations, I had to acknowledge the stories of those who had journeyed before me, their courage, their failures, their grace. As I opened my eyes, the shadows of doubt that had followed me began to dissipate. It was a reminder that these fears, too, were echoes of collective experiences, part of the legacy of humanity. The well was not merely a container of water, but a repository of memories, a sacred place where one could draw strength and wisdom. I stood in the clearing, feeling renewed yet still hungry for answers. The styles of those ancient spirits filled my senses, guiding me, pushing me toward understanding not just my own fears, but those reflected in the world around me. In that moment of quietude, the deeper question emerged. How can I honor the strengths of my ancestors while embarking on my own unique journey of discovery? As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting golden hues across the sky, I made my way home, deep in contemplation. With every step, I carried the echoes of the well within me, understanding that to navigate this world, I must allow their stories to flow through my veins, shaping not only my spirit but the legacy I would leave behind. Settling back before my altar, I marveled at the stone, now glowing with a depth that echoed my own transformations. I couldn't help but ponder. How will embracing both my fears and my lineage lead me to the essence of my soul? What new paths lie at the intersection of remembrance and awakening? I closed my eyes, surrendering to the mystery, eager for the whispers yet to come. The night enveloped the world like a dark velvet cloak, pierced only by the shimmering stars and the glow of the moon, hanging high with an invitation to explore the depths of existence. As I settled before my altar, the gentle flicker of the candle created a dance of shadows that echoed the complexities of my thoughts. I felt an innate pull toward the well of wisdom that had begun to unfurl within me, tangled roots of understanding, heritage, and spirituality, weaving together across the tapestry of my soul. With the lingering warmth of the day still in my bones, I contemplated the stories and lessons that echoed through my lineage. Each ancestral whisper felt like a thread, beckoning me to unearth their hidden wisdom. Closing my eyes, I surrendered once more to the stream of consciousness flowing from the depths of my being. Help me to see, guide me to understand, I murmured as I inhaled deeply, allowing the scents of incense and old wood to fill my senses. It was then that I began to drift into a dreamlike state, an ethereal realm where boundaries blurred. I found myself wandering through a dense fog, the cool mist brushing against my skin like an embrace from the unknown. The surroundings transformed. I was surrounded by figures cloaked in flowing robes, their faces obscured yet familiar, as if I had encountered them in fleeting moments throughout my life. They gathered, forming a circle that pulsed with silent energy. United in a solemn purpose. One of them stepped forward, their presence commanding yet gentle. A wise elder who seemed to bear the weight of generations within their gaze. "What is it that you seek, seeker of truth?" they asked, their voice weaving through the air like a melody sung long ago. "Did I seek to understand the intersection of my story with those who have come before me?" I replied, my voice steady yet tinged with vulnerability. "I desire to honor their struggles and strengths while discerning my own path." The elder nodded, a calm smile gracing their lips. "To honor their truths, one must first confront their shadows. The unseen temptations your spirit wrestles with are echoes of past fears, remnants carried through time. Will you embrace them, or will you succumb to their illusion?" As they spoke, the circle shifted, and I was suddenly surrounded by scenes from my life, moments of doubt, grief, joy, and triumph materialized within the fog. I felt the weight of each experience settled heavily upon my heart, with shadows of regret whispering their familiar lullabies. I was enveloped in a wash of emotions, each one a lesson, urging me to face the darkness rather than retreat. "Each of these shadows holds a key," the elder continued, tilting their head toward me, their eyes glinting with a spark of understanding. "Forgive yourself for the missed chances, but also honor them. You are not merely a vessel carrying their burdens. You are the one who transposes their pain into wisdom. Such wisdom often dwells in the heart." I found myself reflecting, suddenly immersed in the realization that each experience was not solely mine but part of a larger continuum, shaped by the hands of those before me. Power surged within me, trembling at the threshold of deepening awakening. Remember, the elder urged, the well is not just a reservoir of muted memories, but a fountain of strength. Each ancestor embodies the struggles you face. Learn from them, but do not let them confine you. I felt each word resonate within my soul, awakening a knowing that urged me to look beyond the shadows and into the light. As if sensing the culmination of this exchange, the fog began to dissolve, revealing a path bathed in soft luminescence. It beckoned me forward, lined with blossoms exuding fragrances both sweet and earthy, an olfactory reminder of the cyclical nature of growth and rebirth. The figures around me began to dissipate, yet their essence remained, the energy of their teachings resonating in the core of my being. When I finally opened my eyes, the candle's flicker had waned to a gentle glow, illuminating the quiet space around me, yet the warmth of the elder's wisdom lingered. I felt empowered, a piece of the mosaic fitting seamlessly into my understanding of self and the universe. With renewed resolve, I depicted my next steps, a commitment to face my fears and the unseen temptations that threatened to derail my journey of growth. Yet, as I prepared to step away from my altar, a question hung in the air, elusive yet potent. How can I transform the burdens of the past into the wings of liberation? And how will this transformation guide me towards my rightful place within the circle of life? The night's shadows wrapped around me like a blanket, promising deeper revelations in the days to come. I surrendered to the mystery of the unfolding path, eager to continue this sacred journey, one delicate step at a time. Awakened by a new day, the sun pierced the horizon, casting golden rays that danced through my window, bathing the room in warmth and possibility. The scent of dew-kissed earth mingled with the freshness of morning, invigorating me with a sense of purpose. The revelations of the previous night lingered like a haunting melody, urging me to delve deeper into the art of transformation. With the morning light spilling over my altar, I felt the call to honor the wisdom that had been gifted to me. Sitting cross-legged upon the woven mat, I closed my eyes once more, inhaling the crisp air as it brushed against my skin. With a heart open and receptive, I began a prayer, a silent conversation that reached into the ether, toward realms both visible and unseen. Guide me, sacred energies. Help me to transmute the echoes of my ancestors into purpose. As I opened myself to receive, a flicker of light caught my attention. My eyes drifted toward the window, where a little bird perched upon the sill, its melody sweet and trilling, as if singing the very essence of the day. In its song, I found a resonance with the cycle of Lithian intonation of resilience threaded into the fabric of the universe. I marveled at its freedom, reminded that liberation flourishes in the openness of being. Yet, this joy was mixed with an undercurrent of apprehension. What unseen temptations lay in wait to ensnare my spirit? Compelled by an insatiable curiosity, I gathered the insights from the elder's teachings, feeling a flicker of determination igniting within me. I needed to explore this question, to understand the shape of these shadows and how they manifested in my life. With a sense of resolve, I stepped outside, the soft ground cradling my feet as I walked through the garden, tending to my surroundings with both physical and spiritual intention. I noticed the wildflowers swaying gently in the breeze, their hues vibrant and alive, each petal a reminder of the beauty that emerges from struggle. Just as they had braved the tempest, I too could rise above the challenges that obscured my sight. Suddenly, memory washed over me, images cascading like a waterfall. Moments from my childhood surfaced, those small yet turbulent times of confusion, where I had grappled with feelings of inadequacy and isolation. A pain long buried began to bubble to the surface, spurred on by the untamed nature surrounding me. I paused at a patch of daisies, studying them closely. Each bloom had its roots intertwined in the soil, reaching toward the soon a visual testament to growth despite adversity. In that moment, I felt a connection to both the earth and my ancestors. What kept you rooted in these moments? I whispered, addressing the vibrant flowers as if they were vessels of wisdom. The breeze responded, rustling the leaves in soft whispers. As if reflecting back my question, it occurred to me that my own unseen temptations, the doubts and fears that lingered, were not merely mine alone. They were remnants of inherited beliefs, an entanglement of past struggles threading through time. As I tilted my head skyward, I witnessed the clouds transforming, shifting shapes that mirrored the complexities of emotion weaving through my psyche. I realized that acknowledgement of these shadows was the first step toward removing their grip, that I in my heart. I vowed to honor this connection, to face the specters of past burdens with love rather than disdain. But the essence of liberation also felt elusive. I needed to cultivate the strength to break free from the cycle that had imprisoned generations before me. What would it take for me to genuinely embrace this metamorphosis? As I wandered further, I came upon an old oak tree, its vast branches stretching toward the heavens as if embracing the divine. It stood tall and proud, a testament to endurance against the tempests of time. Sinking to its base, I placed my palms on the rough bark, feeling the heartbeat of nature resonating through me. In that moment, I imbibed the oak's wisdom, strength rooted in vulnerability. I could lean into the truth of my experiences without allowing them to overshadow my essence. With a sense of newfound clarity, I returned to my humble altar as twilight descended, the first stars gleaming above like diamonds in velvet. I reflected upon the duality of my journey, an ever-evolving tapestry woven from shadows and light. What role do I play in this grand design? I pondered aloud, my voice echoing into the depths of the night. How can I, like the oak, stand firm while embracing the fluidity of growth that life offers? As I surrendered to the silence surrounding me, I felt the pulse of possibility rumbling beneath the surface, a reminder that my path forward would not be an escape, but a harmonizing of light and shadow. Each day would present new teachings, new revelations, and new temptations that I would meet with courage. I sensed that this was merely the beginning of a profound dialogue with the universe, a conversation that would unfold in layers, revealing the deeper truths of my purpose. And with that, a new question lingered on my heart. How do I nurture this dance of shadow and light, allowing both to guide me toward my ultimate transformation? As dawn broke the next morning, a cascade of colors flooded my room, heralding the arrival of another possibility, the sacred gift of renewal. I surrendered to the moment, feeling the tender glow seep into my heart, igniting a flicker of hope. It resonated with the lessons gleaned